Welcome to Podtendo, a Nintendo podcast, where they analyze, reminisce, and replay the glory of old Nintendo games. Hey guys, welcome to the Podtendo podcast, where we analyze, reminisce, and replay the glory of old Nintendo games. And we're so far in the future now that 2005 is old. That was 20 years ago. Man, we love our millennial nostalgia, so that's what the show is about. The 2000s. Wow, I can't believe that happened. Podtendo. We're a pop culture review, let's play something show. Retrospective? Yep, I'm Mick. I'm joined by...
Tyson.
Cool. Did I just start saying the Podtendo podcast and I didn't say where we analyze, reminisce, and replay the... Oh, no, I did say that. Okay.
I think you said it.
Yeah. Okay. Sweet. Cool. So, welcome. We're back at a numbered show. If you were following along, we've had a couple of these, right? We did that big Zelda retrospective. We just came at you with our top 10 Zelda game list, which I was listening to, and I was like, heads up. Sometimes I'm scared making a top 10 list, because I'm like... Do I already disagree with my opinions? But that was good. I was like, good for us. Good for us.
Yeah. I think we did all right. It's always tough to say.
Yeah, very much so. But we're back with a numbered show. We have a couple numbered shows actually coming up kind of over the summer. A couple more of these RPG shows. We're in the fantasy realm here in Podtendo land. Because today we are playing... the GameCube exclusive Fire Emblem Path of Radiance. Are you from America? You never heard of Fire Emblem? It's just always kind of been there in the peripherals as characters in your Smash Brothers. Well, today we're going to dive into what this game series is about. How exciting.
Yeah. First Fire Emblem game that we've covered. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it's an interesting franchise. Yeah, it's always just there. It's a huge franchise, and they keep making games. And I've always just stared at it and wondered, what the heck's that all about?
Yeah, no, cool. And actually, we'll get into that a little bit. Tyson, he was the champion of this one. He was like, I really want to play this. I think I'm getting into them. Were you collecting these games at some point?
Yeah. I have all the Switch ones now.
Oh, okay.
So.
Oh, but you haven't dropped your like $12K to get your GameCube version yet.
No. That's why when I saw this come out on the Switch Online, I was very happy because I was like, I'm probably never going to be able to play this game. It is too much money, and that's what the Switch Online should be for. Yeah, really. Yeah,
and this is one of those ones. Yeah, if you really loved it, it's probably close to its market value, right? So, I don't think it's gonna Anyways, Fire Emblem Path of Radiance. Let's get into it. It was developed by Intelligent System. It was published by Nintendo. It was released in Japan on April 20th, 2005, and then in North America on October 17th, 2005. Sales for this game has an estimated of 500,000 to 600,000 lifetime. Considered underperformance or performer at release. That's probably why it's so expensive now. How long to beat has this game? Around 30 to 35 hours. For the main story, and you're going to spend 50 hours if you want to complete this bad boy. Oh, baby. On eBay, a copy of this is going to go anywhere from about $180 to $350. So clearly, we used to flex and tell you guys how rich we are. But if Twilight Princess has taught us anything in Fire Emblem Path of Radiance, we're not rich enough to spend $350 on one cartridge. So I don't know why we're not spending $700 to get these two GameCube games in our libraries. Apparently, we're broke podcasters.
Yes. $700 on two games is, I could buy another Switch 2 for that reason, for that much. So
that's crazy. Yeah, and it's one of those ones. I'm like, maybe I could see the argument. Okay, for Twilight Princess. Like spending $200 for an original copy to play like the true-fledged, no motion control, like what it almost could have been on the GameCube. Maybe have an affinity for the GameCube, like you love that system. I get it. I like the GameCube too. I could see that. This one, again, you could be a big Fire Emblem fan. I don't know why, but you could be, and maybe those people. But yeah, these are one of those ones that's hopefully they're readily available in some other context. Unless, of course, it's Twilight Princess, then never. Screw you. Where to play this game, though? You need a GameCube. We can get an emulator, a modded Wii, or the Switch GameCube Online. Cool.
Yeah. Probably easiest way of doing it.
Yeah. I saw what just came out the other day. Donkey Kong 64 just came out on the N64 Online. Cool.
It keeps taunting us.
I know, it's one of those ones that Tyson's like, I just don't want to play this game. And I'm like, but we probably should play this game. And now it's like more accessible. But then I'm like reading online and people are like, oh, I got into this game and I beat the first level and now I'm stuck on the second level and I hate this game. It's stupid. It's just a stupid collectathon. I don't know why I'm playing it. And I'm like, tight, awesome. Now, the saving grace, save states do make older retro games much more manageable. So there is a chance that, you're at a tough jump and you miss it. Okay, save. Here I'm in the treetops and I'm just going to like save scum my way across the treetops. It takes 5 minutes instead of 30. Maybe. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about this other game we played on the Switch Online. So that's fun. But before we do that, though, we have to get into, I said, guys, it's a pop culture-y show. And you were like, what is that? What does that mean? What it means is we have a time machine. We travel back in time every single episode. Well, not every single episode. Just most of them. In our patented Wayback Machine. And we look what October 17th, 2005 looked like. I feel like this is a time we've been hanging out with a little bit. So this must have been an early release on the GameCube or something like that. Because I feel like some of these have come up a few times. So we start out by saying, what are the top movies? And decide, do we want to live there? We haven't went back in time for a while. So, yeah. Like, I feel like the 2000s, like, everyone's kind of, like, into the 2000 nostalgia. I don't think it was that good of a time, though.
No, it was just, like, filled with junk. Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, nah. The 2000s, you go there because you're like, it's all right. The 90s, you're like, you go back there because you're like, I want to relive a lot of the prime of my childhood or whatever. But it's like 2000s,
If I wanted to watch bad horror movie sequels that are being released to theaters and bad video game remakes and bad movies starring The Rocks, I would just stay in this time. I don't need to travel back to 2005 because the top movies for October 17th, 2005 are Wallace and Gromit, The Curse of the Were-Rabbit, Flight Plan, Saw 2, Corpse Bride, Doom, and The Fog.
Yeah. Not a great amount of movies, but oddly, I remember this time really well. Yeah. Because I was probably a functioning teenager, and yes, I remember I had a buddy who was really big into the Doom movie, thought it was really good because there was that chainsaw scene. And then I also had friends that are really big into Saw, and I'm like, I don't know if these movies are for me.
Yeah.
Curse of the Were-Rabbit's pretty good, though.
I like Saw movies being explained to me online. Like, if there's a guy that can just, like, talk about horror movies and explain the plot of the Saw movies within, like, in 45 minutes, I'm like, oh, okay.
Oddly enough, there is a guy that did that, and I recently watched a video about all the timelines and everything. It was more about, like, everything that the main villain does wrong, and he's just kind of like, from the beginning, it's like, okay, let's see how like close he can stick to his own philosophy, and he just runs through it, and you're like, fascinating.
It's one of those ones I'm like, the fact that it exists, lore. Doom sucks. The Fog, starring what's his name, Jared Padalecki, star of Supernatural. And randomly, I was watching a Scooby-Doo, the 2000 Scooby-Doo movie retrospective. And the guy mentioned, he's like, Scooby-Doo's been everywhere. He's even been on Supernatural. Yep, sure enough. If you go to Amazon Prime, load up Supernatural, season 13, episode 16, Scooby-Natural. The guys from Supernatural go into a Scooby-Doo episode where they have to learn that, like, monsters are real. and like guys get stabbed, and at one point Daphne freaks out because she realizes that heaven and hell exists. It's actually pretty good. I watched it last night. It's pretty funny.
Like, say what you will about Supernatural, I have a fondness for it because it's like it doesn't take itself seriously at all, and I appreciate that. Like,
you'd watch it, and Dean is
take themselves to
Dean is just you. He just loves Scooby Doo, and he's just like nobody's heard in Scooby Doo. It's great. Like you'd watch it and be like, do I like Supernatural now? Okay.
It's not a bad show. It's not a bad show.
Have you seen that episode?
I have.
Okay.
Yeah, I've gone out of my way. I've actually watched the first 2 seasons of Supernatural, and I think it just kind of fell off.
Yeah, I watched the first season.
Because it just kind of gets like, man, we're on like their 12th episode about vampires. I just can't.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm like 5 seasons.
There's good moments, though. It's fun. Yeah. It's definitely fun.
Okay. Top TV shows. Let's see if Supernatural made the list. It did not. Oh, that's sad. But they were Lost. This is the peak obsession years. We have House, Grey's Anatomy, CSI. And that's it.
Oh, peak doctors and cops.
Yeah. Literally just doctors and cops. And being on an island. Cool. Notable games released in October of 2005 was Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness, which is weird because it was also released at the exact same time on the GameCube Online. Shadows of the Colossus, Fear, Mario Superstar Baseball, Nintendogs, and Soul Calibur. I say 3, but it might be 2.
No, it's probably 3 because it's GameCube. This would have been the one that has Link.
Is that right? Soul Calibur 3. Oh, yeah, 2005. GameCube. Okay, cool. Sweet.
Shadow of the Colossus is a really interesting one. I feel like that and Ico.
Yeah.
We should maybe tackle at some point.
Yeah, I've looked at those too. I think I'm like once in a while I'm like, it's kind of neat little world.
Yeah. And fears like from a like from an actual like how they made that game is really cool. Like the AI is very smart, and it actually like is smart and actually like tries to flank you. And if you do stuff like you're always like sneaky around the side, they'll like set a trap for you, and then they'll like throw grenades. Like they're actually like pretty intelligent. Super Mario Baseball, I'm like, like another couple games, and I'm like, we could just easily play like a Mario sports game one time.
Wait, hold on. Let me check. I think what do we have? Isn't that one of our games? I think we're playing a Mario sports game this year for Month of Mario.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, we could either pick like World Tour Golf, Strikers, baseball. Yeah, I think we have something just like with like 1,000-Year Door. I think that's what our Month of Mario is this year.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we can definitely play like Mario Baseball on the Wii. It's pretty fun. It's pretty fun swinging that little controller. I'm like, ooh, baby. And then finally, the WWE pay-per-view for this month was WWE's No Mercy. October 9th, 2005. The main event was Batista versus Eddie Guerrero for the WWE Championship and one of Eddie's final pay-per-view matches before his death weeks later. Randy Orton Undertaker versus Randy Orton and Cowboy Bob Orton. Chris Benoit fought Booker T, Christian, and Orlando Jordan for the U.S. Championship in a fatal 4-way. So, ooh, baby.
Okay. Yeah, the one that kind of stands out in my brain, I think, is the Randy Orton and Cowboy Bob Orton. This is kind of when Randy was on his like first big push up, and was that when maybe I don't know, but I remember his dad being there because his dad had that big cowboy hat.
Sure. Yeah, this would have been.
And I was like, oh hey, I never up to that point thought about like generational wrestlers where they're like, oh yeah. Like I always knew the Hearts were like a family, but I never thought of like, oh no, now that like wrestling's been around long enough, some of these kids are the kids of former wrestlers.
True. Yep.
So.
Yeah. No, it happened. This was kind of like the first, literally generation, right? And Randy Orton still wrestling today, 20 years later, main event at WrestleMania this year. Oh baby. There we go. So that was what was life like?
That's dedication. Same job for 20 years. Dedication.
Yeah, I feel like the top guys, like at a certain point, you're like, I make like $4 million a year. I have to work like 20 dates. It's pretty chill. Oh, okay, nice, cool. Finally, about the development details. Now we know what the pop cultural landscape is. We're like, oh yeah, I remember what 2005 was like. It did have that feel. Those notes even had that feel. Ugh. Development details of this fun game. So this is the first fully 3D Fire Emblem game. Whoa. It's the first Fire Emblem game with voiced cutscenes, cinematic FMVs, fully rendered battles. Whoa. Development difficulty, it's a transition from the Game Boy Advance sprites to 3D, balancing the tactical gameplay in a 3D environment. The new features include Laguz, which is a beast race, and they transform into animals. And then there's also racism and political themes added. Why?
Yeah.
Why would you add racism to your game?
Right? It's like we should be having fun in our games, and like, nope, racism and murder.
Oh.
Enjoy.
Okay. Good. Excellent. The support system changed, so they have fewer supports, more restrictions. And then the skill system expanded, so unique equipment skills and more customization. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's, I think, like, all in all, like, it's a pretty rock solid game. Like, it's very easily laid out. It's got a pretty straightforward tutorial.
Yeah.
I like to just like think of it as like chess, like a virtual chess game where you got all these boards and the pieces, but they can take some damage and stuff. It's very I like it. A lot of fun.
Yeah. No, I agree. It is one of those things. Yeah, like point blank, kind of like playing some of the maps. Some of the maps I'm like, and maybe my difficulty was too low, but there was one, after the last chapter we talked about here or something, maybe one of the last, like one of the 17s, that really long battle, where there was a part where my turn was just killing the one enemy that spawned on the screen, and then the enemy's turn was like another enemy would walk right next to my guy and not attack. He would just like queue up, and then my next turn with Titania would just kill him, and that was it. And then like nothing. Oh, now one more enemy, and I'm like, yeah, I think I'm just either over leveled or I have it on too easy of a difficulty, but this
Oh yeah. Well, Titania, she can kind of just like run away with it. There's sometimes where I'm just like, I'm put her in a choke point and everybody else is gonna just chill.
Yep. Did that a lot. So the controls of this game. So we have basics, you can move, you can attack, wait, trade, rescue, shove, use items, and equip items. So you have advanced, you can use Kanto, which is mounted units move after acting. So any of the horse trains, so a Titania or your Oscar, maybe he was a knight that I had at some point, green guy. They can attack basically and then like retreat. So very useful if you want to use like multi-attacks. Titania can run up to deal a bunch of damage. Then you can have like a sword guy step in or an axe wielder, get some more experience. You get train bonuses matter. There's a weapon triangle, so sword is greater than axe, but axe is greater than lance, but lance is greater than sword. So, oh baby. And permadeath. So when your characters die, they're gone forever. You have to reset. Simulator begins.
Yeah. It is much easier with save states.
Yes.
So if you're gonna play this,
oh my
play this
God.
on Switch Online.
The amount of times I would just like innocuously move my white mage just with the rest of the party. I'm just trying to keep her up to date. We're way away. And then like I'd just be flanked by the next 3 attacks and just get decimated. And then like they kill my archer. And I'm like, fuck. Okay, well, reset. Oh, I haven't saved for 20 minutes. Damn it. Replay that turn. Oh, and saved. And now no white mages are dead.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it just takes like, you can kind of like build a bit of a line with your characters. And that's why like there's another mechanic where these like some characters roam and you can just kind of set a location and you're like, they're really powerful and stuff, but they're also like, man, you not being in formation really screws my whole strategy and leaves my entire backline just open to being owned. Or randomly an archer will just be like, I'm just gonna ruin this person's day, and we'll just get like a critical, and you're just like, okay, this sucks. So I tended to have more like over leveled characters, certain characters, and really under leveled characters. But in the actual, like, once you're in camp, you can actually bump up certain levels and stuff. So if some like all my mages were like barely leveled, because I tried to heal them, and that was really the only thing that gives them experience, or heal people, and that's the only thing that gives them experience. But in camp, I was just like, okay, let's catch you up to the rest of the group, so you're not just like getting one-shotted all the time.
Sure. Yeah, what Tyson is alluding to is kind of after the first few chapters, maybe after chapter 4 or 5, you do start going into camp. And at that point, you're able to get bonus XP, which you could reward to a bunch of parties. Now, one of the tricks I heard, you want to talk metagame, when you first get to this function, you get about 2,000 experience-ish, depending on how well you've done. Like, there's like little bonuses that can get you more experience. If you take the 2,000, put it on any single character, that will get them up to level 20, which gives them a class upgrade. So you can actually just get like a super overpowered character, right? So for Oscar, for example, he's a Lance Knight. If he gets up to level 20, he then becomes a Paladin. So he's way faster. He gets double hits. He basically becomes like a mini Titania. So now you can just take Titania, who's an upgraded character, and Oscar after chapter 6, and you just have 2 Paladins running around just clearing out the board, and you're like, oh, I basically just beat the game. And then subsequently dump all the rest of your bonus XP into like another character, and just basically then you get another mastered character, or now you got a Dragon Knight or something. Oh, okay, perfect, right? And if you kind of work your experience that way, it's just a better way of kind of building your team, essentially.
That's fair.
Or a strategy. Or you could do like the balance, like, well, I'll give a little bit to this mage and a little bit to that guy, or just dummy like Sorin right away, and you're like, oh, you're going to be like a black mage and use like Meteor from Jump Street, and I can like kill the villain at the start of the map kind of thing, right? And you're like, oh, neat.
No, that's fair. And that's kind of the cool part about this game, because like, I mean, it's pretty easy, so I wasn't cheesing it. It was my first time playing it, and I was trying to play it blind. But that's a crazy strategy, and it's like I could see how you could have a lot of fun with that.
Yeah,
because you could just like save it up for a certain, like, oh, I know I'm getting this character, and I immediately want to just like make them busted.
Yeah. So I guess let's explain, because we're kind of talking about it now, right? We're in the control section. So the way that this game is worked out, it lays out is you get your little bit of a story, and each chapter usually has a map. So a map will consist of a battle. So whether you have your troops, so it's one character, usually upwards of 12 or something is kind of what I was seeing. Maybe battles get bigger in the later half of the game once you get to it, but I didn't get there. You basically, like Tyson said, it's kind of like a chessboard. You move around a map, interact with enemy units. Usually it's like defeat, storm a castle, enter a castle, stop them from burning parts of the village, defend a castle, like, right?
And like defend.
Yeah, defend. It could be, there's one that's like sneak around a prison, unlock some cells, rescue some people, or just run in guns blazing and kind of attack everybody, right? And then in each area you get kind of little experience for individual battles, individual attacks, defending, killing, and then obviously bonus XP too, right? And you kind of build your characters that way. You'll have these in camps where you can kind of move your equipment around. So when I first played, I didn't get that, and I definitely played through one map where like half of my character's weapons were broken, so they just did nothing.
Oh,
like they didn't have any. They didn't have an axe, so they just like couldn't attack. But I was like, you have 3 swords, and he's like, I only can attack with an axe. I see. All right. Yeah. I mean, it was like early on. It was like chapter 6, so it was like inconsequential, right? But that's essentially how this game works. Now, in between that, there is hours of content. Essentially, what I think Fire Emblem is a interactive. I would call it almost like an interactive graphic novel, right? Lots of still scenes, lots of dialogue, lots of characters just talking. And it kind of comes off to me as a like manga, more of like a manga kind of comic book style of presentation for its story, right? So you do have to sit down and be prepared to, after every little interaction, sit and read and do with this. And like when you're at camp, sometimes characters need to interact behind the scenes, right? To make certain, to unlock certain weapons, right? Like you're like, how come I don't have any better weapon or armor? Oh, you didn't talk to Amy in camp enough to build a relationship, so she gives you a sword, and you're like, oh my god, really? So it is very involved. There's a lot of depth kind of behind the scenes. So there's almost kind of like an army fantasy simulator is kind of what you would call it, almost like in behind the scenes at work, if you're skipping all the dialogue. Now for me, at a certain point, I just started pressing start and cutting out the 30 minutes of story, because I was like, I don't really care. I don't care. I'll watch a video later. YouTube for Fire Emblem kind of sucks. I'll be honest with you. Like, yeah. I understand it's a low-selling franchise. I don't think it's a big fandom, because trying to just tell me the story. All I want is you just to sit down. That's all I wanted. The story of this game. That video almost doesn't exist. You have to watch this retrospective and hear the guy tell you about his childhood for 10 minutes. And I'm like, who wants to hear about someone else's childhood? And before he gets into the story, and then when he does, he's like, well, let's pause and talk about the gameplay now. And I'm like, no, just tell me the story. I don't care about your concept of the gameplay. So it is interesting just how little content this game series has. And I think maybe that's just the effect of it not being bigger in North America, right? So it is one of those things where bigger series overseas for sure, right? We'll talk about that, like, in Japan, there's tons of these games, right? Some of the ones we've never even heard of that are super popular, whereas we just didn't get that. So that's kind of the Fire Emblem experience. That's why they're in Smash, everyone.
Yes. Yeah. Well, they're a super big franchise in Japan, and they have a little bit of a following here. They're a little bit more smaller or niche. And you're right, like Fire Emblem YouTube just doesn't exist, which is funny because it's like, I know there's like that Fire Emblem mobile game.
Yep.
I'm sure that it's still around. Nintendo hasn't shut it down, so obviously they're making money on it. So I don't know. It's a weird franchise, and that's why it's interesting. It's interesting. That's why I was like, I kind of, once I kind of started getting into it, it's like I kind of get the vibes of it. But why don't we talk about our first memories before we can kind of, because I think that's segueing into exactly what I want to.
I'll be honest. Yeah, guys, like, we were going to do 2 parts. We were going to go through the series. We both kind of just concluded this will just be our Fire Emblem Path of Radiance show. I'll tell you as much as I know about the story when we get to that point, so I'll do a little bit of spoilers, but we only played about half the game, right? We were thinking we were going to get into both of them, but we were both just like, I get it. I get a feel for it, for sure. So we were a little bit disjointed right off the top, which is what it is, right? So yeah, let's do first memories, and we kind of talk into the story, gameplay, and it's good. Like, honestly, other than it's not for me. I'm not looking to sit down and read a 15-hour graphic novel on my video games, right?
Yeah, I think that we're both past the days of just reading endless text in games. Like, we're just like, okay, give me, unless, like, if there's a lot, I'm probably not reading it.
I would probably play this whole game.
If there is a lot of dialogue, make it voice acted.
If Johnny Fire Emblem 69 on YouTube has a very concise story, here's what happens in every chapter, and I'm going to hit you on all the important beats, and I'm just going to tell you the story, and I'm just going to, like, it's going to be nice, and I have a good tone, and it's got some pleasant music to it. Okay, yeah, sure, I could probably just, like, beat a bunch of maps. They're kind of fun. They could be entertaining at time, right? I have save states, so no one dies. I always have that protection. Cool. But to get through, like, there's certain parts where I, like, skipped through, and all of a sudden I'm, like, in a snow world, and I'm like, wasn't I just seeing a lion talk to an eagle man? Why are we in the snow? I have no idea what's going on. No idea. So yeah, but first memories of Fire Emblem series for me. Oh wait, I did use ChatGPT, so we'll see what ChatGPT thinks. So I heard about this game because it's, oh no, this is me. I know, shoot. I've heard about this game, but because it sounds like Breath of Fire, which is an RPG, I just kind of missed it on this out on the Super Nintendo. But now that there are 2 series that have similar names, I don't know about them, so I just have never been curious to look into them. And I guess there was Smash. So that's my first experience. I know that there was a thing called Fire Emblem, and there was another game called Breath of Fire, and they both have fire in the title. That's stupid. I don't know what you are. My brain just is like, ignore. So that's kind of what I was doing, other than they showed up in Smash. But until this experience, gun to my head, you've been like, where's Ike from? I'm like, Breath of Fire? I don't care.
Yeah.
That's kind of my first memories. So
I had a similar thought. I was kind of like, what's Breath of Fire? What's Fire Emblem? And I kind of like looked into them, and I realized, like, there hasn't been a new Breath of Fire game in forever, but they keep making these Fire Emblem games. So I was like, okay, you know, I'll give it a go. And I downloaded a demo or 2 of some of the newer games.
Oh, yeah.
And that's kind of what really hooked me with some of the newer games. And I understand that they're not like the traditional one. And then when this dropped, I was like, okay, let's give this a look. And I was kind of enjoying a bit of it. It was a little bit more engaging than the handheld ones. Like we basically have like the Game Boy Advance ones, this GameCube GameCube one, and then a bunch of the Switch ones. It seems like it's very like spread out. Like we don't like, it's not like doesn't hit every console generation or whatever. So just it's
but Game Boy
it's
Advance
a weird franchise.
and GameCube were like the same genre, so it's almost kind of like this series kind of started around that time. Like I don't know if it was on the Super Nintendo.
I think it. So in Japan, I think it was. But I think it was these were kind of the first ones we got in North America. Yeah.
Oh yeah, sure enough. Yeah, look, and Super. What is that? Nintendo for the Family Computer. So yeah, it would have been like the NES, 1990, Shadow Dragon and the Blade of Light, which I think is re-released on the Game Boy Advance at some point, and then we've got like Gaiden, Mystery. That would have been Super Nintendo, Okay, all right, sure. So then I think we saw a bunch released again, but on the Game Boy Advance. But it was that thing where they were like taking the NES and Super Nintendo games and putting them on the Game Boy Advance to make them more accessible. Cool.
Yes, yeah, and that's why so we had kind of a decision to make of like which one of those two games on the Switch for the Game Boy Advance and the GameCube, and I was like, let's play the GameCube. It seems a little bit more better.
Yeah, It lead up to this show, you're right. We had three options. We had two on the Switch Online, the Game Boy Advanced, and then this GameCube version. And I think it was better reported. People are saying like Path of Radiance is the best one. So I was like, why are we playing the best one? Why are we like nickel and dime? Oh, we'll get to the whole series.
Well, and I also played a little bit of the other two, and like it was like, man, I'm already sick of reading.
Yeah,
it's like, but Path of Radiance, like at least it's kind of interesting and there's characters and it's a little bit prettier. I'm sure doing a lot of reading, but I'll get through. Yeah, little did I know.
Yeah, it's definitely a series. It depends kind of what of a game. Like if you're a gamer, you're like, I like getting into a series. I love finding the lore. I love losing myself, and I just want to play this Game Boy Advance game for the next 30 hours. Phenomenal.
I feel like if these games are like, I'm more of a movie or a TV watcher than I am a book reader.
Yeah.
If you're more of a book reader than you are a movie and TV watcher, I feel like you would really vibe with these because like each character has like their own prejudices or backstory, and it really does come out in the dialogue where there's sometimes like, man, this character is such a piece of junk, and then there's other times you're like, I really like this character. They're kind of like, they're really, I sympathize with them, or I like them a lot, or they always bring humor to a room. So like as for a story wise, it's like, man, it's like super tight and it's really well done, and I could see why this one is just like on a different level, whereas the other one is everybody just kind of talks like video game characters and NPCs. So I think that's kind of the appeal of this franchise, is it lets you think about how the more you learn about like how these different races and different nations kind of interact with one another, and they all have like this history going back generations. It's like a Game of Thrones thing. Like it's good fantasy where there's this huge world that you can learn about and dive into if you want to do. I'm just like, I just don't read a lot of fantasy that way. Like I'm like, give me a good story and I'm in and out.
Well, and like, and part of my dislike is the same thing. Yeah, big fantasy world, big of that. I don't love fantasy. Like in my mind, there's so many little fantasy series that people are like, oh, you should like this, and I'd be like, no. Like there's a certain part where I hit, and I'm like, they start talking about like the Fey realm and elves and stuff, and I'm like, I don't know what this is, but I hate it. Stop it. Get away from me. Game of Thrones, like I was also really resilient to get in, like resistant. It was talked about, oh, you'd love this, and I don't think I started watching until like season 5 was released. And then at that point, I rewatched all the shows, read some of the books. Oh, cool, neat. Was in it to the end, and then I was like, that was a terrible ending. Okay, cool. We're never gonna get the 5th or 6th and 7th book. Why did I waste my time with this stupid series, right? Lord of the Rings is great. It's awesome. It was the first. I think it's done it the best. I love The Hobbit. The Hobbit's probably one of my favorite books of all time. That's a great little world. But outside of that, yeah, a lot of fantasy just doesn't kind of capture my imagination, right? Where I'm kind of like, I don't know. I like having hot water in my house. Like,
yeah, like for me, it's like The Witcher is the only other one. Like I wasn't big into Game of Thrones. Like I think I fell off after season 2.
Okay.
And then I kind of like begrudgingly dragged myself to season 4, and then I'm like, I just can't anymore. And then it ended and it sucked, and I was like, see, it was, I was vindicated. And I mean, like, Obviously, Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit. Those are timeless classics. Some of my favorite books and media of all time. Like, it's maybe not the Hobbit movies, but I mean, like, Star Wars is kind of sci-fi fantasy, but like it's sci-fi. It's not really high fantasy. So if it's like essentially it's just The Witcher and it's just the books. Like, I really like the books because they're kind of funny. They're like riffs off like fairy tales and stories like that. So
Sure.
But other than that, it's like I just don't really like. Fantasy's just kind of not my thing. I haven't I like the idea of it. I'm just not sold on any properties or IPs yet. So
I will happily, and that's almost like with anything, I would happily sit down and listen to the lore of a series. I have like no interest in Halo. Absolutely nothing. Now I realize we're just talking about fantasy, but let's talk about sci-fi. I don't care about Halo. I don't care that there's a Cortana and then a guy shows up and get out of here, Master Chief. You seem like you're bland. But if you were to sit down and just tell me the lore for 25 minutes, I'd be like, okay, fuck yeah, tell me a good story, right? So I'm always into the story of that, right? So any fantasy world, I'd always give it a chance. Like, give me a quick, brief rundown. Like, I don't need to get into it. You can give me spoilers, tell me what's going on, to pique my interest. So it is one of those things where I kind of almost need to know about a series or have like kind of an understanding before I can just dive into something, right? And especially like a game like this, it's 50 hours. I just like, that seems too daunting. So really, Nintendo, what the problem is you need more people on YouTube talking about your games and your series to make me more interested. So what you shouldn't do is like put strikes against accounts that try and use your IPs to make content, because it's actually a good way of like building these IPs and building the communities, increasing sales of your games. But what you don't want to do is like somehow sue those people.
Or punish those small creators that are just trying to do it for the love of the
I love this series. I would love more people to play Fire Emblem. Hey, screw you, man. You don't touch Fire Emblem. Here's a fine. What the hell?
It's like how dare you even think about even touching this franchise? And you're like, but don't you want people to more people to discover it? No. We will market it ourselves. And like, oh my god.
I mean, in all fairness,
toddlers.
Yeah. I mean, I guess what's the other news that just came out? The Nintendo Switch 2 is now actually the most affordable handheld gaming console. So if you don't have a Steam Deck, you're not going to get one because they're just going up in price. But Nintendo's
it's okay. They're already sold out.
Nintendo's like, don't worry, guys. We're now actually the bargain. We're actually now the budget gaming console. So we did it somehow. We're just going to keep going. Why? Because they made like $1 billion off their stupid Mario movie because all these Muppets went out and spent money on it.
Well, they also produce a product that not a lot of other people made, and they have a bunch of exclusives. And then when the rest of the industry was like, here, let's have our games. We need software sales because that's how we sell consoles. And you're like, God, you're morons.
Yeah. What's the other one I just saw?
And then and they just now, we're gonna start pulling back from all the exclusivity, or no, we're gonna pull back all our titles. So Sony's no longer letting PC have any of their titles. And it's like only Maritime for Xbox does the same, and Nintendo's like, see, didn't do anything, and I won again.
Yeah, I mean,
God, you guys are idiots.
Yeah, I'm just gonna gatekeep these 3 IPs. No one else gets them. And Sony and Xbox are like, we'll just be the same thing. We'll be the exact same console. Oh, then why why choose? Because you can't play with your friends if you pick one. Oh.
It's like, but now crossplay is a thing. Oh, right, that doesn't matter. Back to no, these games are mine and only mine.
Well, there's a reason that we're 11 years strong running a Nintendo retro Nintendo podcast. Because they just keep going. We obviously picked the right wagon. So, man, I feel bad for the timeline that we started the Xbox Tendo podcast. The pod box.
You know what? I personally only want to be like the PlayStation retrospective where you're like, we played Jersey Devil this year.
Jade Cocoon 1 and 2 next week. Boom.
Oh, sick. Can't wait to raise me some cocoons or some jades or some cocoons of jade. I don't know. Yeah. I haven't played that game in years.
Cool.
Man, we are danced around talking about the story of this game.
I know. Okay, that's it. So now we've kind of just mindlessly. I don't even know. I honestly don't remember a conversation for the last 10 minutes. So let's go. Let's go story. Story of Fire Emblem. So, man, ChatGPT, you write such terrible notes. If you listen to this, you suck. I hate you, AI. Kingdom of Crimea invaded. Mercenary Ike. He's the son of Grail. He becomes a leader. We protect Princess Alicia. Yeah, that's it. I don't know. You start in this world. So let's just go right to the level notes, because that story sucked. Prologue. It's called Mercenaries. So Ike trains under his father, Grail, and learns the basics of becoming a mercenary. The Grail mercenaries are introduced as respected fighters who take jobs while trying to stay out of politics. The battle, basically, you're just doing a sparring/tutorial, and that's our introduction to the world.
Yeah, pretty basic. Learn that apparently as mercenaries we're a little bit more of an upstanding lot, even though our job is to literally kill people for money. But we're the good kind of mercenaries.
That's right. We're noble. And actually, the way that this game is presented is it does start kind of a very micro level. You learn about Grail, you learn about Ike, you kind of see their little. We go through some adventures for the first couple chapters before they ever pause and show you a world map, right? So it is kind of an interesting world building where they kind of do make it try and more of a character focused experience. Really get to know this little group, kind of care about them before introducing the larger world. I mean, yeah, that's pretty solid. It's a pretty solid approach to telling a big story, right? Getting people into the series, so it's not bad. So if it's one of those things where you're like, I don't know if I can handle this big jump into the fantasy world, it does actually do a nice job of kind of like tapering the experience. So to chapter 1, though, the battle begins. So the story is bandits attack a nearby village, and Ike joins his first real mission under Titania's supervision. It's the first glimpse that Ike is talented, but still inexperienced and sheltered from larger conflicts. Okay.
Yeah. Obviously, he's got some sword talent, and he's pretty capable, but it seems like they've really just tried to keep him out of what their day-to-day business is, which again, they're mercenaries. Yep. I kind of understand trying not to be like, hey, if your business is being mercenaries, like, hey, I'm trying to raise a kid, maybe I shouldn't show him my day-to-day operations until he's a little older.
And just you're younger getting into it, right? You're starting out like, oh, okay, cool character growth, right? So chapter 2, though, we head off to rescue. So the mercenaries discover that Rolf, he's like a young blonde kid, I don't know what his, and Mist, I think that's like Ike's sister, have been kidnapped by bandits, and they launch a rescue mission. So Ike begins learning that protecting people often means making difficult tactical choices.
Yeah. Kind of just like a basic run through of how everything is starting to work. And you get a pretty basic, I think this is when you get to run around and check in all the houses, and it's like, hey, make sure you check. If you see a house and the door open, maybe you might want to give them a heads up. If there's some bandit, they might reward you.
I thought that was the first one, because you're like in a village. Yeah, the second one, you're like in the woods, and there's just like one house at the end of like some weird wooden fences.
Oh, yeah, I remember this one.
Right, and then you like kind of, and then all of a sudden this big villain shows up, and then Titania shows up, and the archer and the big armor guy show up and like kill him. And you're like, oh, you were just getting reinforcements the whole time. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Chapter 3, though, we go pirates aground. So pirates attack the coastline near a village, and the Grail mercenaries intervene. So this chapter reinforces their roles as protectors while showing ordinary people suffering from the instability around Crimea. Yeah,
it's kind of crazy that like literally within just a cruise, like it just like it doesn't seem like we're picking up camp and moving. We're just kind of like going out and helping out people. Yeah. Like just down the road, there's bandits and pirates and all sorts of stuff going on. It's like, if you guys aren't going around and helping people, it's like, it's a pretty bleak world to be in.
Yeah. Well, again, part of the storytelling, right, is you see that, right? Yeah. There is an established military. There's an established police force. That's why these military or these mercenaries exist, right? And it's just kind of helps do a little bit of world building right behind the scenes. I think this is the one where there's like a Pegasus girl on the boat, and apparently if Ike talks to her, he can recruit her to come help you or something. But I didn't do that, because there was like another one where she's like, you're on a beach in a couple levels. And they're like, oh, just use the horse girl, and she flies around and kills everyone. I didn't have that. She never showed up, and I was like, oh, I didn't recruit her. I was like, well, that sucks.
Yeah, there's a couple characters that I'm like, I didn't even think, like, and I just kind of blipped my mind, and I was like, oh, whatever happened to that one chick? And like, oh, yeah, you missed her. And I'm like,
Yeah.
son of a gun. I think I didn't realize until, like, chapter 8. And I was like, well, not going back now.
Literally, there was like several later, like, this person will come up, and I'm like, I don't remember talking to her. And she didn't do anything. She just sat there the whole battle. She just sat on the ship. I don't know if I was supposed to talk to her, but it didn't.
Yeah, like,
Oh well.
yeah, like, but clearly, I guess I should have wandered around more with Ike,
Yeah.
and actually chatted with people. Didn't think about doing that while playing the game. I was too busy. So little things like that. It's easy to miss these characters, and that sucks when you actually miss somebody.
Yeah, very much so. So in chapter 4, Sweet Spot Pirates, roadside battle. So the mercenaries encounter Princess Alicia fleeing from the invading forces after Crimea collapses. The entire direction of the story changes, and Ike becomes involved in an international conflict rather than just small mercenary work. Wow. So here we find out that a warring nation of Daemia, kind of looks like demon, attacks Crimea. They kill the king, and then this like mystery princess somehow escapes, and we find her, and she's like, oh, I'm actually the rightful queen of the thrones, and I'm going to take these 3 dragon eggs, and I'm going to build up an army, and then I'm going to come back, and I'm going to take the Iron Throne. No, that's a different show, but it's kind of the same thing.
Yeah, like minus the dragon eggs. It's like, we need to get to the coast so we can get on a ship and sail. Not across the ocean. We're heading south.
Yeah, we got to go to this capital and find some armies, and okay. Yep. Okay. Mm-hmm.
They're like a kind of tentative ally. They're definitely going to raise their banners and help us. They're very friendly. Like, okay, cool.
So we have to protect Alicia here, eh? In the roadside battle. I don't know if I remember. When do we protect our house? Remember, like, our mercenary base? Which one is that?
Yeah. I was going to say, is that not...
Is that one of these? Because then the next chapter is Flight. So Alicia reveals that the kingdom of Crimea has fallen to Dane. Oh, it's not Damon, it's Dane. It's getting close. And King Raymond is
that chapter
dead.
8?
Despair and Hope. No, because you already left. Right? Like, you start...
But I think you find shelter in, like, a little place.
No, but, like, the one is your house. It's definitely, like, your military base. That's the one where you have to protect, like, the green space. And I feel like... I think it's this one. I think Flight. So you have to, like...
Maybe.
You have to, like, fight off the Dane forces in your little house, and then you decide, hey, we should all leave this place. I think is kind of how it goes, maybe. But it does say escape map. So maybe roadside battle. Maybe that's it. Protect Alicia. So she's, like, in your house... And if they get to your house, they'll kill her. So you have to, like, stop them from doing that. So that's probably what that one is. So that's, like, you have to defend your little house or your base.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's, like, the 3 different entrances.
Exactly. But if you just take Titania and plant her on the left, right, in the bottom, who cares? She just destroys everyone. And you just, like, have to have, like, switch guys in and out and make sure you keep your white mage healing. Shouldn't be too bad.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So,
okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So now we leave because we're like, oh, we better get out of here. So Alicia, yeah, blah 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 blah. We decide that we have to leave up the road, and I think this one is we're just on a road. Oh no, escape. This is where we start off in the trees.
This is and you got to cross either
river.
of the 2 bridges.
Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah.
This one, escape map. So at the end, you beat all the enemies, and then one by one, if you'd like, you can have all your characters get to the end point and escape this map, which gives you more XP, or bonus XP as in case, or you just have Ike do it right off the start. So it's one of those things. If everyone's dead, it's worth it to maybe spend a term having everyone escape or as many people as you can. So I guess it's something like every person that's escaped gives you 15 bonus XP, but failing to like. If you have too many turns, it's like minus 10. So there's,
right.
In theory, if you can have an extra turn and have one person escape, it's kind of worth it in the bonus XP world. Apparently, that's a big part of this game is knowing how to get bonus XP. I watched a guy and he was like explaining everything, and I was like, Yeah, this series, like, there's so much story, there's so much going on, there's so many characters. Plus, there's like these hidden things in the background that you don't even know. Okay.
Yeah, there's like these hidden mechanics and
Yeah.
stuff. And I know they kind of like, oh, well, hey, you might get a reward. That's like all it will say. They don't tell you like, hey, it will give you straight up bonus XP. Just like it's so vague. But you can get multiple people to leave on a turn. You can send like multiple people as long as you're within range. You can be like, okay, you go, you go, you go, you go, you go, you go, and they can grab Ike and end, and that counts as the turn. So if you're like really close at the end and you don't want to get that penalty, it's not too bad. But yeah, so another mechanic. Does it ever get brought up ever again? Not unless you're min-maxing.
Yeah.
But this game's not hard.
No. Chapter 7 is this Shades of Evil. So the story here is Ike witnesses firsthand the cruelty of Dane's soldiers and realizes the war is far larger than politics between kingdoms. The Black Knight presence begins to loom over the events. Wow. So we have a battle in multiple fronts.
This is the dungeon one. I'm looking at it.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is the one with the 3 different
Yes. Yep.
treasure chests.
Absolutely. Yep. And you show up and you kind of break up your party, and this girl named Maya runs in kind of randomly and starts interacting with you. Sure. Okay. And then as you get towards the end of the dungeon, your dad shows up with the 2 other strong guys. And you're like, oh, perfect. Now I can kill everyone.
Yes.
Okay.
And it's... Yeah, and I think you get the second wave of like the archer and the heavy guy pop up halfway through. So it's kind of like there's like multiple waves. This one's like a little bit more epic. So
certainly, yeah, it's definitely one of the bigger parties, bigger strategies. Hopefully you make some good save states, make some good choices. You don't have to like reset too much while playing through it. At the end, you end up, the bad girl, one of the main generals of the game, shows up. Your dad goes to go fight her in a different room. You guys kind of go to provide backup. She's like, haha, I'm going to have a whole army kill you. Luckily, though, the big Black Knight shows up, scares off the rest of the invading army, and then some like animal people, the Laguzas, run in, scare everybody off, and you're like, haha, we're saved.
Yep.
Cool. And I believe this is where is this where like the Black Knight fight happens that night? So like your dad goes out that night for a walk, you follow him while everyone's kind of resting. I think that's the one, right? You see that him and the Black Knight are now battling in the woods. He basically loses to the Black Knight and is killed. Before he can land a strike, he's asking for some type of object that his dad must have, that Grail must be kind of protecting. He refuses to give it, and then the king of the animals scares the Black Knight off. And you're like, no, father... How did I know in this anime-style story that my father would die and I'd have to avenge you?
And he was very ominous of talking every time he said, like, when I'm not around. Like, he may have said that like 12 times. It clearly wasn't... This is clearly out of the blue and was not, like, foreshadowed at all.
Oh, no.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. All right. Chapter 8, Despair and Hope. So the Grill mercenaries are hunted relentlessly while trying to escort Alincia out of danger. The sense of losing ground and surviving against stronger forces grows stronger. Okay.
Yes. Yeah, I don't know. It's... At this point, you're just kind of... Oh, no. Here, wait. This is the one where... You're holding out in that like little wreckage, and you get the endless waves of enemies, and you have to hold out until a certain turn. I think it's like 8 turns.
Right?
Is
that you know what? I'm gonna have to also pull up a picture just so I could be like, oh no, this is we're in the fortress. Now we're defending the fortress. Okay.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So I don't know what I was doing before. Weird. Maybe the one that we thought was the fortress flight.
No. So flight is the one where we're in our home. This is the one where we're in a random ruins.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Okay, you're right. Okay, now we're just in the ruins of the castle. Our dad just died. Okay, tight. Yeah, this is the one where...
Yep.
Okay, we've already talked about that. Excellent. Let's see. Can I go to chapter next? Okay. So in chapter 9. Now we kind of know what's going on with pictures. That's fun. So the story, the group reaches Gallia, homeland of the Laguz. where racial tensions between humans, Bjork, and the beast tribes become the central themes. Tellius begins expanding from a war story into one about prejudice and history. So the key here is racism theme begins. Oh, okay. Sure.
Yeah.
Oh, now we're on the beach. Hey.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're on the beach. You can kind of break up your party. I sent a couple of my horse units.
Yeah.
To help out the people in the homes, because there's going to be some pirates that show up. Whenever I see a beach, I know that there's pirates showing up. And then I had my main force kind of stomping towards the castle. So
yeah,
this is where you get your 2 Lagoos, and they're roaming at this time.
Yeah.
And they just they're kind of difficult to deal with.
Don't do anything. Once you figure that out, you're like, great. Yeah, I also think I sent my horses up to the beach the first time. And then the beach, they actually have less mobility because they're on sand, which makes sense. So I think I ended up sending them south, sending a foot patrol up north, and people just avoided me. Like, everyone just kept trying to go south and, like, attack my white mage. Whatever. I was like, cool. I'm just going to let those houses burn. I don't care about those people at all. But on to Chapter 10. Prisoner release.
That's fair. I was going to say, I think it's just, like, a better healing rod.
Sure.
And a talisman.
Yeah, and had you talked to the horse girl, the flying Pegasus girl, she shows up in this one. If you would have recruited her, I didn't. And I was like, oh, well, I'm not going to play through this game again. Sucks. Oh, she's one of the best characters? Lovely. Great. Awesome.
That'll happen.
That'll happen. Chapter 10 is Prison Release. So the story here, the mercenaries work to free captured allies while operating inside hostile territories. It reinforces the cost of Dane's occupation and the need to build alliances. So you're in kind of a prison. You can avoid the guards' detection if you just stay outside of their zones, or you can just run and attack everybody. You get a couple new characters in one of the cells. You find a guy who's like, I don't know what his name is, but it turns out he's the president of a different country. Cool. Glad I saved that guy.
Yeah, no, that's fair. It's this is like, I think you get like 4 new characters.
Yeah, you get the blue sword girl, you get the red horse, you get the gray heavy, and then you save whoever that prime minister guy is. Volk, yeah. And he's just kind of mystery. He's like, oh, I don't know who I am. But in the next chapter, chapter 11, Blood Runs Red. So Grail confronts the Black Knight in one of the game's most important moments. What? No, he doesn't. Grail's already dead. The battle changes like permanently and pushes him towards becoming a leader rather than just simply Grail's son. That's not what happens at all. You're in a...
Yeah, but we didn't talk about when Grail dies, because after the Black Knight kills him, everybody's like, well, obviously Ike's leader, and then the Big Heavy and the Archer both leave us.
Oh, I see. That makes sense. Huh. I always wondered where they went. I didn't read that story, so they just weren't there.
Yeah.
Again, no one explained this to me, so...
They're like, why is Ike? He's a kid. He's no leader. And they leave. Okay. So, this is the town.
You're in a port. You're trying to get onto a ship. So you kill a bunch of enemies. There's some Dragon Knights that are kind of just like lazily watching the fight. And if you don't attack them, they don't attack you. You play through the whole map. And then towards the end of it, the Black Knight does show up. But I just got Ike to the boat and we just went away.
Yeah. But you can get 2 characters in this one. So.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Who do you get?
A guy named Giark, but you have to talk to him with one of the Lagoos, Mordecai or Leth, and then Jill, who's apparently a redheaded chick, a polearm, I think.
In the next chapter, I remember correctly. Oh yeah, talk to him with Mordecai or Leth, and then must survive this chapter. Okay, I got Jill, so it's pretty exciting. I guess I didn't kill her, so she was like, "Yep, that's nice." Okay.
Yep.
Cool. Chapter 12, Strange Land. So Ike and the mercenaries continue traveling while struggling with leadership changes after recent events. Ike begins carrying responsibilities he clearly wasn't prepared for. And actually, we're on a boat. Our boat gets stuck, and then birds start attacking us, and we have to fight the birds. And like they only are on the ship for a couple seconds, and it takes like 2 attacks, and then they're dead. And I'm like, but I can't attack them anywhere else. Sure, I guess I'll just wait.
It's this is the one of those random times where like, am I missing like?
Yeah.
Should I have more mages at this point in the game? Should I have more archers at this point in the game? Why is this happening?
Yeah.
It's a weird one. Like of all the ones, you're like, they've kind of made sense up to this one, and now it's like, we will have birds attacking. You're like, sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Whatever game.
Sure. Okay.
But you can get another character. So
who do you got?
Seems like a guy named Soth.
Son of a, like, how? I don't have any of these characters, man. All right. Good.
Because they're hidden. So to get Soth, you have to go to one of the reports in the base and one of the options before starting the chapter.
Oh, okay.
I don't even know what that means, because I definitely didn't have them. I didn't have so many characters, and then I was like looking through like a guide, and I was like, where's all these? How do you get them?
Yeah.
I thought I played the game pretty well to a point where I was like, I left no stone unturned, and I'm like, and I'm missing 6 or 7 characters. How? It's like chapter 12.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't get any of these bonus characters, so if it makes you, I had Jill. That was it. So I'm crushing it. Chapter 13, Guiding Wind. So the group continues escorting important figures through dangerous territories while enemies close in. Ike slowly earns the trust of older and more experienced allies. So now we're 3 boats. We're our friend Gatry. He was like the heavy, and I think maybe his like daughter Astrid is there, and there's like an attacking ship, so we have to like get through their ship, attack them, and you can get Astrid and Gatry, but you have to talk with Astrid. But I literally couldn't get my guys across to the other boat before Astrid was killed by enemy soldiers. So like they killed her on their second attack, and then I restarted it, and they just kept killing her, and I'm like,
yeah, you probably. I bet you the strategy is rescue her with one of the with the Pegasus.
Yeah, sure. And like,
because that's one thing is like the rescue feature is super helpful. Mm-hmm. So I've had like lots of times where like I just had a character sitting at like, I know they're not going to survive the next round of attacks. I'm like, okay, just have the character who's can rescue them and then get out of there, or can rescue them and survive the next couple attacks, and then you can sort out the healing in the next wave.
Gotcha. Okay.
So
sure.
Does come in handy every now and then. But again, it's like this game. Like I can see why it's popular, because there's kind of like lots going on, and there's lots to kind of like uncover, and like we're both playing through this game and we're missing characters like crazy. Mm-hmm. And then and when it comes to a time where you can get a new character, it's like, okay, well, we might just literally murder them immediately. So you better be extra careful to make sure that they stay alive. That permanent death thing is so hard.
It is one of those things where it is like kind of just like a kick in the face. Like I felt like a slap in the face. Like, oh, you can get this new character, and then she just gets killed in the first by the first 2 grunts, and I'm like, well, I don't know if I want her if she's that weak, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. So, but on to chapter 14, we're on to training. So actually, a big thing happened. So apparently on your boat at the end of the last chapter, you're reading through your little story, and then this like girl is down, this little girl, and you bring her up, and she's like, I'm actually the chosen religious leader of this other nation, and I've been watching you because the president of my country said you were good. And then you go to the capital, and she's like, I'm going to protect Alicia and go to war, but first you have to see about racism and the conflicts in the world. Oh, okay. Cool. Sweet.
Yeah, so the Lagoos are essentially being trafficked right now into slavery, as they're seen as kind of like a lesser race. There's been a lot of race conversations between the Lagoos and the humans, and they have a certain term for each other, and like both of them are seen as essentially just like racist towards, like they don't actually, the world is in such a racist state where they sometimes like their term for the other race is a racist term. Like that's the only way they know how to refer to that other group. So there's like these like it's super like lots of conflict and going on, but like not only do these nations absolutely hate each other, but they like the different races on this planet also kind of just hate each other and just cannot interact to a point. And then even to a point where I think like Ike and the king of the Lagoos talk for like a little bit in the previous chapter, and they even just have this moment of like, you know, like you're really like Ike, you're not normal. Most humans do not like respect or like us or like being around us, but you actually, like your dad Guthrie or whatever his name was, he Grail actually helped, but like he Ike was born around the Lagoos or in the capital or whatever, and was like Grail was hanging out there. So obviously like his dad was like a pretty like open and chill dude, and that's like kind of why Ike is one of the few good people on this planet.
And it is kind of like the melodramatic anime bullshit of the world is racist and everyone was evil except for your father who was a great warrior and he was pure and you're the only not racist in the world, so you actually don't have to grow as a character. You're just like the bucolic idolized ideal of what a person should be, so you be a hero. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's trying to put the like hero's journey and your characters like always doing the right things, just smack in a world that is not that. Yeah. So it's like, I don't know, you can't. It's kind of it sticks out like a sore thumb, and it ends up not fitting.
And instead of being a conflict, and you have to learn to not be racist, you're just like, no, I'm the representation of the player, and the player is obviously into furries, so why wouldn't you be into these furries, right? We even got dragons. People love dragon furries. They're the best. So on to chapter...
So, I was going to say, so there is racist characters. Like, Soren is extremely racist and hostile. But as he spends more time with with everybody and actually, like, it becomes more open-minded. That's why. So Soren's actually like pretty beloved in the fandom because he's one of the few characters that kind of goes through a bunch of development. Sure. Like clearly is like a racist person, and then as the story progresses, he becomes more aware of his ignorance and his biases and stuff. And you're like, so there's interesting things in that, but it's like, but not every character is written that way. There's way too many characters. We're clearly just doing like, what is it, Suikoden with like it's 200 characters that you can recruit. It's like we don't need this. Yeah. You do not need this many characters. I mean, please stop.
It makes sense that there was so many extra characters and some of the, I think around chapter 14 training. So you're now working for like the religious little girl leader, and she's like, oh, you should go fight these guys. They're a bunch of guys. And it's like this really easy map that I like cleared no problem. I was like, I feel like I have too many characters, but you get to select your army, right? You get to select 10 guys. Well, I only have 11 guys. And I was like, I'll just set one of my white mages. But obviously, if you have a lot more characters, I get that there's a lot more expansion. I had no idea I was missing so few characters. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Huh. But we stopped.
Piles of them.
I think this one that we stop, it's like they're like bandits or something, but they're involved in the slave trade, but they're like just pretending they're bandits. Anyways, we stopped them, and he's like, oh, I can't believe you stopped my trading of furries. Yep, we did. Poof. On to chapter 14, though, we have to stop some feral frontiers. We play the feral frontier. So the party encounters a feral Lagoos, showing the horrifying consequences of war and experimentation. The world becomes morally darker and less black and white. So I think in this one, we're told by the little religious leader girl to go stop these bandits. They're bad. But really, the bandits are just the furries trying to stop the slaves. And they're like, hey, we'll join you. But there's a little mage. There's a big guy. Yeah.
And again, it's showing you that even when people are trying to help you, they're probably not on your side. Yeah. So it's definitely graze the word up, because a person that was helping you out not too long ago is like, oh no, they're actually kind of like secretly pro these like slave trades. So. Let's not work with them.
Yo, crazy. There's this website. I don't know if you have it. Is this the one? FireEmblemWad.com?
Yeah.
Literally tells you turn by turn, where to position characters, what to do. Damn.
Yep.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's like up one.
Yeah.
5 right. Yeah.
Okay. Huh. Weird. Cool.
Yeah, it's like a chess game. People have this game like mapped out.
I mean, makes sense. There's some idolized. Yeah, that. I mean, I guess had I known, no, I liked playing it my own way because I just kind of did random things, and I was like, oh, you're on a little mission. You're gonna go fight these guys in the right corner. Everyone else go attack the boss. Perfect.
I think that like, and those are the decisions you got to live with because you're kind of like commanding this. I don't want to copy and paste like, here's the perfect strategy to never fail at this game. You're like, I don't want to autopilot this. Like, if somebody wants to do this and make a YouTube, I'll watch it. I also
go, like, playing through the first half of this game. If I was to finish this game, there is a world where maybe I play through the first half and skip a bunch and play it like perfect, so I just have better experience, more characters going into the second half of the game. So I could be like, it's going to be a bit more of a fun experience, right? More diversity. I could see that maybe being a point, but yeah. Why wouldn't you just play this game regular? It's not that difficult. Chapter 16 is Atonement. So past mistakes and guilt become influencing several characters while the army continues moving towards larger objectives. The story focuses more on consequences than simple victories. You play in a big... I don't even know what this place is. It's like a big fortress? And I feel like it took a very long time to get my to get around the building, and then as I got kind of towards like the end of the map, guys started showing up at the front door. But I think I was at that point, all my guys were at the end of the map, so I just left.
Yeah, kind of gives me a big cathedral kind of vibe to it.
Yeah, sure.
Apparently, there's more characters to unlock.
Yeah, I saw that. You got to talk to them, and I was like, well, I missed that. Missed that indeed. Yep. But now we're down to just basically the final mission. I don't know exactly what the point of Atonement was. There was something. But now we're into the final chapter that we're going to talk about. So chapter 17, Daybreak. So the chapter basically is, congratulations, now survive 4 maps. The chapter acts almost like an entire campaign by itself, representing a major military offensive against Dane forces. Oh, baby. So you're in the forest because there's like a flying bird guy, and he's special, and his forest is dead because the Dane army attacked and killed everyone. And we decide that we're going to help him. And somehow maybe we rescue his sister. And then he's like, hey, yo, my sister's still alive after all this time. And Ike's helping the bird people. Maybe we'll help them. I think that's what happens. And then him and his sister's love at the end, like, re-magic the forest. So you save part of the world.
Yeah. Well, I think you kind of push back against the bullshit that's kind of going on. But I like the concept of this level where it's like a lot of big open maps.
Yep.
Like, and you have to literally, it's almost like you're marching your army against some resistance and trying to like take back what you need to do. Like this feels like a good use of this game. It's no longer like, hey, here's a beach, go over there. It's like, okay, fine. This is like, no, here's a purpose. Here's a thematic thing that's going on as you're taking your army and you're trying to like march it or navigate it this terrain, and you're going to keep working your way through it. And you're like, this is really well done. This is kind of cool. I can see why people would like this.
Yeah.
And I was like, just caught my mind going like, okay, well, like I could see in a different game or whatever, you could almost do it like, you know, at the end of Final Fantasy VII where you got 3 different teams. So like if you have enough characters, you could almost have like 3 different
parties
things,
3 different maps, and they're all battling at the same
3 different time. Yeah, it's like, I'm like, they could have a lot of fun with this. I'm like, I could see how the simple concept of like just like a 2D squares or whatever, and just like move your characters like chess pieces. It's like there's a lot of depth to it. It's very, very well done. So this was actually I think a good little ending piece to this. We get to end with a big old finale of like this. All the skills, all of the characters, everything's kind of built up to this little bit of a full-on scale assault. And you're like, wow, this is well done. I don't know. I thought it was cool.
Yeah, so the 4 parts, the first 2 parts literally is you in a forest, you clear out the army, you move north, 1 screen. You literally continue north, and I think you have to exit right on the 2nd screen. And instead of just a forest, I think there's a swamp in the middle, so your characters move a little bit slower around the swamp. If you have like a horse, you can go around the outside stay on the ground and move faster. Wow, crazy. the third part, so 17.3, you end up, yeah, same thing. I think there's a lot more enemies here. I made the mistake of sending two of my guys up front, the front lines, and I think I got worked over. So I had to kind of like do a little better job staggering my guys in the south parts of the map. But this is the map I was referring to earlier, where I took all my guys. I was probably over leveled. I probably cheated the system. I was save stating, so I kind of knew the right sequence. So if I send these two characters here, they can take care of the archers and the mages. Perfect. Everyone else can go south. Have one guy clean up these guys. I ended up, yeah, after 6 turns or so, I had the map cleared out, and I was just waiting for like enemy reinforcements randomly one at a time to like step on the map, and then I would just kill them. And I was like,
yeah,
what happened? Like, did I just cheat the game somehow?
Yeah. Well, I think, and you kind of have those moments if you replay map a couple of times, you start to kind of like memorize the patterns. You're like, hey, if I literally go up and go here. So that's why I find it so funny that somebody literally wrote down their step by step on turn this, go up here, go over forward. Because I was kind of instinctually doing that if you restart a mission a couple times.
Sure.
Just like, okay, this person's going to go up and go there. And then I know what the next wave of the enemy attacks is going to be. They're going to hit this person and hit that person. And I can do these things. And you're like, you just kind of like start mapping out this whole sequence of events in your head. And it's like and going back to my chess analogy, that's a lot of what chess is. It's just memorizing. If I play here, my opponent's going to respond here, and it's just memorizing thousands of different games or variations of that. And it's like, and I find it like this game does a really cool job of that, but it also adds like a cool like different scales across like here's these like marching battle, here's all these like little like hold out and don't die. So I think that like I love the idea of Fire Emblem. I'm like I'm not sold on maybe finishing it, but I really love the idea of it, and I'm having a lot of fun. I think that if I had this when I was a kid and I didn't have like a million other things going on in my life, I could see myself just like, okay, instead of watching a movie tonight, I'm going to play a mission. And you could just keep chipping away at it, eventually get through it. And you could probably finish all the games because they're not too difficult. Mm-hmm. Yes, there's permadeath, but like for the most part, you only die when something unexpected happens or you make a mistake. So
and that's in this final part, chapter 14. So you kind of end up, there's a little base, one of the maybe that's what the cathedral was. That's what it is. Atonement. So you end up, the little priest ruler girl sends you to see this guy named, like, I don't know, let's call him Isaac or Oscar, or he's a bald guy. He's involved with the slave trade. He specifically was trying to fuck over the white flying bird people, and she knew this, so you actually go to his house. So that's what you attack, his house. You're trying to find this slave trade. You end up in the woods where they have kind of this like religious, I don't know, sacred part of this like bird race kind of sealed off. You end up attacking them. One of the mages here does have meteor, so randomly he just picks characters and just like almost destroys them. So like Ike, first turn, I was waiting, and all of a sudden he just gets hit to like 1 health, and I was like, whoa, that's what is going on here. So obviously killing this mage with meteor is like my first attack. Holy smokes. So you're able to kind of work around, fight the base. Towards the end of the fight, the bird people, they're like, oh, these people are helping us, and they're not just racist, we'll jump in. And they show up and just randomly take all your experience. That's all they did. Their turn was just like, I would have a bunch of enemies with 1 health left, and I was like, perfect. I'll have, Boyd show up with his axe, get that much needed experience, maybe gain a level here, and then the bird people would just kill them and leave the full strength people. And I was like, no, game, I can't do that. I'm like kind of almost into you, and then you're just like screwing me over. And same thing with the main guy. He's almost dead. I have like 1 more hit left. I was like, perfect. I'm going to save it for Ike so he can gain his last level and be at level 20 right before he like gets his character upgrade at the end of the story here, and like turns into his next state. That's going to be awesome. And then the bird person killed him. And I was like, fuck off. Like, I don't like you bird people. Stupid. It's just annoying. What an annoying part of a game. Like, that's dumb. Like, I should be able to tell them to not, I should be able to tell them to fuck off and not do anything, or give me experience for their kills or something. But like, don't take away my hard-earned experience. Like, it's dumb. It's just one of those things. I'm like, so my strategy is now worsened because you had AI helping me. Dumb.
Yeah, those roaming characters, like, you have to essentially babysit them. Like, go over here.
Yeah.
do not attack. Like,
yeah.
or like, so you can either do move, they will move to a location. You can do nothing. You can do roam. So you can select a location and they hang out around that area. And you're like, this is awful. I hate it. Don't do this. It's so bad. Like, either give me control or don't. I don't care. Mm-hmm. But this whole, like, well, I can direct them over in that general area. It's like, this is just such a pain. So, I don't know. When I didn't have to use them, I tried not to.
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair. Nice. Yeah, so that kind of wraps that up. We saved this people that, like I said, the guy's sister shows up. Magic returns to the world. The little priest girl, she's like, now you can come lead my army. Now that you've proven that you're not a dick, you could lead my army. Congratulations, Ike. Awesome. We're going to go to a campaign and fight Dane. And that's essentially the end of the game. From here, though, we do learn that there is a thief that randomly shows up who used to work with our father to get information. So if you want to know, let's spoil it. So spoilers, guys, for the rest of the game. There is a magical medallion that your sister Mist has that apparently brings out evil in people and like more strength. Dane, at some point when he was working for Crimea, part of the capital, had found it and touched it and went into a rage, killed his wife in disgrace, left with his 2 children, became a mercenary. I think he ends up cutting the ligaments or something in his wrists to remove his sword fighting skills. And this assassin, that's this thief, was brought in basically to say, if I ever go crazy again, if I ever touch this, I need you to kill me because we're now at the same level. You have the abilities. I want you to take me down. I'm too powerful when I get enraged. And this like mystical artifact is kind of what the Black Knight is looking for. It's what the Dane King is looking for to kind of help bring them power. And ultimately, guess what? Ike is the true noble boy of the land, and he ends up saving the day and fighting off the bad guys. And it ends with it leads into the next game, which is like Fire Emblem Radiant Dawn.
I think so.
So
yeah.
this game isn't even a conclusion; it's just a setting up for the next story. So it's kind of, I was like, I don't think I need to play that. Okay, but that's apparently what happens. There's a magical artifact. Maybe it's called the Fire Emblem. Okay, cool.
Yeah. It's definitely a franchise. Yeah. I mean, I think it's an okay game.
Yeah. No.
I like it. Has its moments, but then there's just some goofy things, and it's just kind of.
I get it. Yeah.
It's
yeah. So
of its time.
Current
Unfortunately,
thoughts for myself. I am glad that I got into the series again. It's one of those things. I had a barrier in my brain because it's very close to Breath of Fire and Fire. I was like, I can't figure this out. So I am glad that I took the time to delve into the series. I do like the gameplay, like Tyson was talking about. I think the gameplay can be excellent. The strategic moving around maps, the presentation and the way the story is told, and just like the depth of the story that they're trying to get to through these like little cutscenes and the amount of just detail that you need to, like, if you wanted to get lost in a world and you loved reading and you loved comics, right, and you loved these big epic stories, I'd probably have a great time. But I need more extra media. Like I said, I need a YouTube video. Tell me the story. I could play through the campaign. I like that part of it. I don't love so much about the rest of the world. And now finding out that there's tons of extra characters that you're missing. It adds, yes, to replayability, but like, I'm never going back and playing this game a second time. What the hell are you doing, game? Having all these extra side characters, like, that just seems unnecessary to me, right? But overall, like, core gameplay mechanics, nitty gritty, I really like what they're doing. I like the world that they were telling, the story that they were telling, the ambition that they had, like the way that it was presented. I would just say that it's probably not for me, right? It's not something that I can kind of get into. It doesn't really appeal to me, talk to me. So in that sense, it's probably, I'm going to, like I said, played through the first half. I'm glad I gave this series a chance, right? And looked at it and kind of can talk about it and have a bit more of a educated opinion on it. But I think at the end of the day, I'm good with what I got and ready to move on to other series, right? So, but I think it is a really cool, ambitious series. It is one of those ones you could get into, right? If you wanted to play a really long game, yeah, I could see you having a lot of fun with this experience, right? So,
yeah. It's definitely, I think if you want to take your time with it and you don't mind reading, million pages of text. Go ahead, give it a shot. You might have some fun. I know I definitely did. It's definitely a series that I'm going to be more inclined to pick up the next game when the new one comes out.
Sure. Yeah.
Just to kind of see how it is.
Yeah, I would be against that too. Yeah, it comes out on the Switch too. I'd pick it up and be like, oh, this is kind of how it modernized is, right? And like they've cleaned this up and they cleaned that up. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool, neat, right? But yeah, no, definitely not a thing where I'm deterred from the series. It's just more of I'm like, oh, it's interesting to see where it came from. And like, I understand why it didn't sell well. Like this would be a tough sell in my eyes. And get people into it. If you found your way into it, you'd be like, oh yeah, I could kind of get lost in this world a little bit, right? But speaking of, thank you, notes. Oh my gosh, we almost forgot something. So what would I change? So now we're kind of at this point where we're like, it's fine, it's there, I get it. It's not for me. I think that's kind of my sentiment. Maybe that kind of sounds like where you're at too. Not against getting back into it, but it's one of those where not for this podcast application. But what would I change? Speed up battles. Oh my gosh. The first thing you need to do is go into settings when you play this game, turn off battle animations.
Oh, yeah.
Otherwise, you have to watch a loading screen. Titania runs up, attacks. Then the archer sends an arrow, misses. Then Titania runs over and attacks. You get your experience. Versus you can just get rid of that and she just runs up and like attacks on the world map. You can also make the move faster and text faster. Oh my gosh. How about a better support system? I don't know what that means. More info shown to players. Yep, I could definitely see that being more beneficial instead of it just being kind of more spastic at times. Easier recruitment hints. I mean, going through this game, hells yeah. At the start of every chapter, they're like, you could get these 2 characters. Hey, you missed getting these characters. Do you want to restart and try again? Yeah, sure, of course I want more characters. That's the point of this game. And then less resetting after dumb mistakes. The amount of times I had to reset a couple turns because, again, my white mage got killed, or this person got killed, or I didn't do this, or I didn't send Ike that way, and he has the key. And I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah. I think item management is a big one for me. I hate the item management in this game.
It is really slow and stupid. And like, hey, you want to buy 3 healing items? Okay, you got to click A 5 times.
Yeah. Or just like, hey, I like before you get to the camp, I'm just sitting there hoarding all these items. And I'm like, okay, let me shuffle a bunch of these swords over to these people because I don't know what to do with these random piles. Like, I need these maybe bronze swords because my good ones are starting to break. So I should probably have these on somebody, I guess. And just like, it's just kind of clunky.
Yeah.
But for me, like a big update would like give me voice acting.
Sure.
If I could sit back and like listen to people like voice act this out, I'd probably be more invested in the story because I tend to skim read. And there's just walls and walls of text, and one scene will end, and then another one starts back up, and you're like, oh man, it keeps going. So it just, I would probably just say voice acting. Give me voice acting. It's ×2 speed. Do it, and maybe like turn off permanent death, so I don't have to worry about it, and click and make it a little easier to figure out how do I like recruit all these characters because I hate missing characters.
Well, that's the thing.
It drives me crazy.
Start of the chapter, you can get 2 characters and they just like show you their names. And then when you're on the map, you're like, hey, Jill. Okay, Jill has something to do. If I go talk to her, leave her alone, give me a chance, right? Like, absolutely. Like, I need that information. And not, again, just sitting on with my strategy guide to play your game. Oh. Yeah. Because if that's the case, then why don't I just watch you play the game? Like, why isn't it just like movie mode and it just plays everything for me? And I'm like, yay, hooray. Right. So, cool. I got some stuff here at the end of the show. We're up to an hour and a half. Let's go for another like 5-10 minutes and then get out of here. So, are you buying it? So, that question confuses ChatGPT. It means like, are we going to go spend money? But it's supposed to be like a play of like, here's a fan theory. Are you buying that it's real? So, it's a subtle thing, AI. I understand that you take things literally. Dumb piece of crap. The collector theory. So the game's expensive because it low print run, GameCube tax, Ike popularity, Tullius fans. It didn't sell much. That's why it's expensive. Is it worth playing? Yes, if you're a tactical RPG fan. And then worth paying $300? Maybe emulate first. Oh, okay.
Yeah, or just like get a month subscription and just
however, though, if you let your subscription leave, Nintendo will delete all the server information. So once your subscription runs out, all of your backlog apparently gets deleted. So
all your saved files.
yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, it's fine. Just play through it a bit. And guess what? You missed like 17 characters anyways. I know you're only on chapter 5, but like you missed all these guys. So, great. Final thoughts.
Yeah.
So it's not flashy, not beginner friendly, but if someone says Path of Radiance is their favorite Fire Emblem game, they probably have 400 plus hours in strategy games and strong opinions about their unit tier lists. Oh, okay.
That's probably true.
Yeah, very, very, very true. Cool. So that wraps up our review. Did we miss anything about this fun experience? I don't think so. It was actually a lot more fun. There was a point where I was almost done with this game in like chapter 5 and quit. But then I carried on last weekend and beat the rest of it, and it came around. I was like, I get it. There's also these different classes. So after level 20, your character's kind of upgrade. I think I talked about this earlier, trying to get like a paladin or like a dragon knight, and your character just becomes way more powerful, right? Like super overpowered. You can basically clear maps with 1 or 2 people done properly. You also get some force. So around like level 10 to 15, you get these like upgrades for some of your characters. So you can just throw Mist can become your white mage to her. I think she gets a horsey or something. A Valkyrie? She becomes a Valkyrie or something like that, which is like a different class altogether. Again, it's fun. Like I played a little bit after past this game because I was kind of having fun with it and playing around with some of the maps, and I was like, neat. Outside of like the story, if it was presented in just an easier, digestible way, I could almost see myself playing the rest of it. But that doesn't exist, so I'm not going to. But that just leaves. Oh wait, did we miss anything?
Nah. I mean, we talked a lot about this game. Yeah, I think it's all right. Cool. I think we did a good job.
Awesome. Cool. So then cultural significance. Ike becomes one of Fire Emblem's most recognizable characters. Telius, often ranked amongst strongest FE settings. Okay. Proved. The Fire Emblem can survive outside of Japan, and without Telius, Fire Emblem might not be the global franchise. So Telius obviously is the country or province or continent that the story has been told in. So, wow. Good stuff. Cultural significance. I had nothing. Playing this game, I was like, I don't know. What's some weird Japanese games that are big? So I got top 7 Fire Emblem games and then top 10 JRPGs according to Rice Digital. So let's do that. So for all those Fire Emblem fans out there, you're like, oh baby, are they going to talk about mine? So at number 7, we have Fire Emblem Engage on the Switch. Number 6 is Sacred Stones for the Game Boy Advance. Number 5 is Shadows of Valentina on the 3DS. Fire Emblem for the Game Boy Advance is 4. Number 3 is Path of Radiance. Hooray, we played the third one. Fire Emblem Awakening on the 3DS is the second best one. And then Fire Emblem Three Houses is apparently the best Fire Emblem game, and that is for the Switch.
I could see that.
Yeah. Okay.
So, yeah.
Sweet.
Pretty... They're fun franchise. Hopefully everybody learned something. I don't know. I kind of like this franchise. I definitely am gonna be picking it up again. Okay. I'm probably not gonna be running out and grinding this game out so I can min-max everything and follow a step-by-step guide. I'm just gonna play them, have fun. But I mean, if you want to min-max them, I mean, clearly the step-by-step guide on how to play these games is
for sure.
Just a Google away.
Mm-hmm. And cool. So, yeah, it's not for everyone. Maybe it's for someone. Who knows? And then finally, top 10 JRPGs according to Rice Digital. And why did I include them? Because some of these are like weird, man. So honorable mention is Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth. That was like 11th, and I was like, or 12th, and I was like, I'll throw that up there for Tyson. Number 10, we have Resonance of Fate. Never heard of it. Okay, but number 9, Ni no Kuni, Wrath of the White Witch. Okay.
Oh, I think I've seen the cover art of that.
Yeah. Okay. Number 8 is Final Fantasy X2. And I was like, what?
Oh, come on now.
And literally,
now.
They were like, okay, I realize this is a super controversial take, but I've actually played all the Final Fantasies. I do like the 7 and this and 8. But if you look at blank, and like she had a whole explanation, and I was like, I'm just going to write this down because it's stupid. Number 7 is The World Ends With You. Okay.
Okay.
If you really like, I told you it was Japanese, because number 6, we got Shin Megami Tensei Digital Devil Saga 1 and 2.
Absolutely. Made by Atlas.
Okay. All right.
Classic game.
Perfect. Pokemon Black and White is number 5. Again, I read the explanation. She's like, every Pokemon game is kind of the same. It's whatever your favorite. She's like, I think that this game is the best for these reasons. And here it is. It's a complex story. It's not just black and white. The characters are like trying to free, like the Team Rocket, it's like they're trying to free Pokemon from battling and trainers. That's like, and you're like, oh, huh. The villains kind of have a point. Neat. So I think that was her point. Number 4, we have Tokyo Mirage Sessions. Hashtag Fire Emblem Encore. This was also ranked.
She really likes her bloody like Atlas games.
Yeah, this was also ranked 8th on the best Fire Emblem games. So okay.
Interesting.
Okay.
Yeah,
sure. And then the top 3,
sure.
These ones I was like, okay, yeah. Xenoblade Chronicles 2 at number 3. Number 2 is Dragon Quest 11, and then number 1 is Persona 5.
Yeah, Persona 5 is pretty good.
Yeah, that's what I was like. I think that's fine, and like I know lots of people love Dragon Quests. Speaking of, we might be playing that a game this summer, trying to get back into that series just a little bit. As we're looking at these, I'm like, we got to have some more influence in this world, and man, we're playing lots of RPGs. But that kind of wraps up our, our show.
Yeah.
That was Fire Emblem.
Is Dragon Quest 11 the one where you can switch from 2D to 3D graphics?
Maybe.
I think you can. Yeah. So you can switch between a 2D mode and a 3D mode.
Cool.
Yeah. And I'm like, that is, and it's pretty seamless. Like you literally just like flick a switch, and all of a sudden your character's like a little 8-bit character running around or whatever, and you're like, this is delightful. So just for that fact alone, I respect this list. It's a good list.
Yeah.
Props to the writer.
I do see that. Yeah, I see some of these like comparisons. That does, neat. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, again, maybe if we have fun with our Dragon Quest game that we chose to play on our show, we can maybe get to an 11 one day. So that's pretty fun. But with that, I think that wraps up our show. We talked a long time, probably because we talked a long time before actually ever talking about this game, because I think we were both kind of like, it's fine, but it's just fine. It's just fine. So with that, we'll say goodbye. Or sorry, what were you going to say?
Farewell. I was going to say, it is what it is.
Yeah.
But yes. Take care, everybody.
Awesome.
See you next time.
Okay.